All right, I think we're on the air, on the internet, people.
Welcome aboard, people, folks,
Interesting,
peeps.
interesting last 24 hours. I guess right about now, 24 hours ago, we didn't know how bad it was going to get, but we knew it was bad already. Um, we certainly didn't know it was going to end up 4-0, though. The latest I have found on this, I was watching a Facebook live chat that Grant Wall did. He said that his sources are telling him, his U.S. soccer sources are telling him, there's a 70 to 80% chance that Klinsmann gets ousted. And that's pretty much on Sunil if he wants to pull the trigger or not. And if he does, Bruce is ready to go. Bruce Arena is ready to go to take
Bruce
over.
Arena's Yankee Army.
Yeah, we get to do that again through 2018. People have floated lots of other names today, but it seems like this may be the direction they go, and then in 2018 they can figure out where they want to go from there. What do you guys think about Bruce Arena taking over, if that's indeed going to be the case?
I mean, he does seem like a good fit for kind of an interim manager, if nothing else. Come in and he's certainly going to lock things down and give probably set a starting 11. I mean, that was one thing we always had under him.
Where guys
and
play
not have this. Yeah, funny enough, that actually seems to work. If people know where they're going to play and they know who's going to play next to them, they actually learn to play together and not just come out and look like they've never met each other before. So that was always certainly one strength under him. I'm curious what he would be like. I mean, I don't know whether to take the 2002 performance as a fluke. If it was just a matter of who the hell knew what Donovan and Beasley and John O'Brien could offer at the time. I mean, being like 19 or whatever they all were. I don't know how old O'Brien was then, but he was roughly the same age as those guys. And being so young at the time and kind of unheralded, unheard of, who the hell knew what we were bringing to the table? So to some extent, maybe beating Portugal and stuff there was a matter of just not being known.
Element of surprise there, kind of, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. So would he look much better with kind of the talent we have now? I don't know. It's certainly interesting to find out. I'm curious. I'm willing to find out. He does, though, seem like he would be a good option as sort of a caretaker or an interim manager, because if nothing else, he's going to right the ship. And I don't think he wants to necessarily take this on for years and years. I mean, he is getting older. It's not like he's ever been the most pleasant person anyway. So maybe this is a gig he's willing to try for the next 18 months or whatever, and then we can look to see what the deal is afterwards.
Yeah, somebody asked today, and one of our commenters asked if we were inspired at all by USfanTV. Yes, that's actually kind of where we got the idea to do this. And if I'm Robbie, I don't know what that makes Chris, but I know TJ, who's with us tonight, would be Gunnar Claude. And I think you're all going to find out why.
Is TJ there? Because my shot of him, he's just looking back at like his other computer.
I see him. So. TJ, are you there?
Okay.
I'm here.
What's going on? What do you think of the Bruce Arena talk?
Well, it was hard to get a word in while Chris was rambling, so we're going to let him go.
Sorry, I was trying to actually cover for you because I thought you were stuck.
No, not at all. Bruce, as an interim, he's exactly what the team needs right now. You need somebody who actually understands the concept of tactics and adjustments during the course of the game. Bruce Arena's shelf life at this point, being probably as grumpy as he is about 18 months, and that's all they need. They need somebody to get through. He understands how to utilize players to the best of their ability for the most part. He's proven that over and over again where he goes. It's 15 years. Yeah, it's 15 years later from the 2002 squad. He might have learned a thing or two by then too. I think for the next 18 months, He's going to know how to get them through qualifying. He knows how to prepare them. He knows how to put people in positions to succeed. So therefore, I think, that's everything that Jurgen doesn't do. I don't know how much you guys want to go back into the dumpster fire that was the game, or what did Fells call it? A dumpster fire, dumpster fire inside a train wreck inside of something else.
No, I mean, go ahead. We talked about it a little bit today, but it's it's still fresh. That was absolutely
a tire fire inside a dumpster fire inside a junkyard fire. That might have been the best analysis of last night. I guess I'm going to ramble a little on the game. The first half, it was absolutely astounding. There were some people critical of Timmy Chandler, and I'm watching it going, well, Timmy Chandler's playing right back and right midfield. They were playing a 4-4-2, and that's fine, but they were playing with 2 left midfielders, 2 center midfielders, 2 forwards, and 4 in the back. That whole right side of the field was absolutely wide open through the entire first half. You could tell they figured it out. He did figure that out at halftime, because next thing you saw was Fabian Johnson was actually on the right side in the second half. Funny, and it worked until, John Brooks decided he was done playing, and Omar Gonzalez, I don't think he ever showed up. Beasler is just, he is what he is. He's not of that level, especially against a team that knows what they're doing. So I guess to get back to the point, that would not happen under Bruce. Bruce would have made changes at halftime. Bruce would have made adjustments during the game. He probably would have used the first half sub when he saw how badly the team was being exposed at that. And I'm going to ask both of you this. What the hell was Jermaine Jones doing at any point in that game? Period.
I joked. I made this joke before the Mexico match. I made this joke before the Costa Rica match, but I wasn't really joking. Klinsmann insists upon putting Jermaine Jones in there, but the tactics he's playing don't really allow for it. So I don't know if Jermaine even knew what he was supposed to be doing. But I couldn't tell what. I mean, he plays a holding mid type position. You're leaving a bunch of space out on the right to start the game, and maybe Jurgen wanted him to drift out there. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know that he knows. And that's the besides losing the locker room, which is probably the biggest issue with Klinsmann right now. It's this, and I think he lost the locker room because of these terrible ideas and putting people in a position to fail. You can't continue to put people in a position to fail over and over again, and that's what he did. So, Jermaine didn't look good, but like you said, maybe Timmy Chandler had no idea what he was doing either, trying to play 2 positions down the right. So, I will say this though, Timmy Chandler gave up in that match, and I don't know that Jermaine did. Jermaine just looked lost.
Well, Jermaine's problem is he's just coming back from such a long injury. He's basically played 1 complete game, and now we shoved him into 2 in 4 days, like 5 days, whatever it works out to. Like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, he's at his age and having come back from an injury, he needs more time.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, the big problem, and you're right, Klinsmann wants to shoehorn him in, and the problem becomes you can't have the attacking style he wants and still fit Jermaine and Bradley out there. There's not room for 2 defensive holding midfielders. I mean, you just can't do it.
Except that's under the pretense Jermaine actually plays a defensive holding midfielder. Jermaine plays forward. Jermaine plays defense. Yeah. Jermaine plays midfield. Jermaine plays wherever the heck he wants to go and when he wants to go there. It's just like everybody else tries to hold some semblance of position, and Jermaine is the guy who just decides to go crazy wherever the hell he wants to go, wherever he feels like it. It's like he's a free spirit, does whatever Jermaine feels like doing in that moment. I know.
What about Jermaine?
I know, and I disagree that I don't think Timmy Chandler gave up. I think Timmy Chandler was gassed. Like I said, if you watch that first half, he was up in the attack and he is all the way back trying to defend. And there's only so much of that you can do. And again, especially when you know the guys in the middle aren't going to hold up any better, because Lord knows that Brooks was a nightmare, and Gonzalez was. I didn't even realize half the game Gonzalez was even playing. That's how non-existent he was.
Yeah, you really only saw him as when you caught an error.
or taking the ball out of the back of the net, one or the other. But that was about it. Gonzalez was not existent, and Beasler, I said, he must have photos. He's got to have photos of some sort.
I don't get why your maybe fourth, fifth, whatever Beasler works out to, choice at center back has to be your second choice at left back when we have other people who can play. We have actual left backs. I mean, I don't want to say Bornstein or Castillo in there, but we do have other options. I mean, Kellen Acosta isn't necessarily a left back either, but that clearly is a position that Klinsmann prefers him in. So why not put an actual player who can play left back or has a left foot in there? I don't get whatever. It's stupid. I mean, what's the point?
And we seem to keep going round around talking about this, different failures of different players, but it all comes back to they're all set up tactically to fail. They didn't there was no coherent plan. There was nothing. It was get the ball up top and just watch the three try and make something out of nothing. Meanwhile, Costa Rica's got 7-8 guys back because they only needed to run two guys up top because there's no midfield to slow them down. So, and it's even go back to the Mexico game, same thing. There was bomb the ball, chase the ball. Hell, that's U10 soccer in a nutshell. Klinsmann's making millions to put that tactically on the field.
Yeah, $3 million a year.
At this point, guys, he's got to be gone, right? I mean, I can't. I think the situation's reached such a toxic level. I can't see how they could even bring him back.
Yeah,
and maybe Sunil will say, "Well, I'll give it a week and see if it calms down." I mean, sure, the attention's going to go back to club soccer at that point, but no, if you're going to make a change, you've got to make it now. And I don't see how you can't make a change.
Well, you have to make it between now and Camp Cupcake and let Bruce Arena get reacclimated. Presuming it's Bruce Arena, I can't see it being anybody else at this point. Just to get them through this next cycle. No, just no.
That fat bastard.
No.
Yeah, I assume it's got to be Bruce too. I mean, he's the simplest choice to make right now. If this was 2 months ago or something and Bradley wasn't interviewing for the Swansea job, I'm sure it'd be the same thing. Granted, Bradley was leaving his current job. It wasn't like his contract was up, but I think if he hadn't just taken a new job, it would probably be between the two of them again. And really, if you look at it, aside from a few nice wins that Klinsmann pulled off, they are our most successful managers, and they are our most consistent managers, and really they are kind of the same manager. I think Bradley grew into maybe a larger or a better manager than Arena, but there's a reason they're kind of the same guy and have similar tactics and have similar ways of looking at the game. I mean, they're going to both bring they would both bring a structure back that we just lack. And when your captain is complaining that we have no idea what we're doing and the other teams do, they lack structure. And I think that's part of, maybe that would even solve some of Bradley's passing problems. Like, a guy who can drop a 40-yard ball on a dime and then suddenly can't make a 15-yard pass.
Well,
to me, that speaks of they're just not playing together enough that they have any idea of who's going to be there or who's going to be where. And so unless you're passing directly to someone, you can't pass to space because nobody knows where the hell the space is.
Well, and back to the same premise on tactics and lack thereof and lack of any coherent strategy at all during, especially the first half. If you're Michael Bradley, you pick your head up to go look for a pass. Jermaine Jones could be anywhere. He could be right next to you. He could be 50 yards downfield. He could be over having a sandwich. I really don't know. His only option was really to play to one of his two left midfielders, either Fabian Johnson or what's his name over on the left. And it was unbelievable. They said you have two hanging out on the left and Jermaine Jones going walkabout. So if you're Michael Bradley, you're picking your head up going, oh, crap, what do I do now? It probably took him 3 minutes to figure out a back pass to either Gonzalez or Brooks was asking for trouble. And the only back pass he could make to Brad Guzan was if it was off his face, I think. So if you're Michael Bradley, yeah, you're going to quit. You're going to look and go, what the hell am I supposed to do?
Well, I mean, yeah, the game moves so quick that you're reacting more than you're taking the time to make a choice and pass. You're doing it more,
At least when it's as much of a train wreck as that was.
out of instinct. And like I said this before, but you know, when you've got a national team program, you don't have the luxury of training together every day. You get short windows where you get to come in and, you know, you don't even always have your A team together. So you have to keep it fairly consistent. And that's the biggest thing he never did. It was just always something different. He put Alejandro Bedoya in at holding mid against Brazil when he had never played it professionally. Who makes that decision?
That is one of his worst all-time decisions. I mean, that was just flat out inexcusably stupid. And then, well, actually, no, that was a terrible one. What may have been worse was then he threw Bedoya under the bus for not playing well.
Oh, yeah, he subbed him off. It was like the one time he made a first-half substitution that wasn't forced by injury. And then he's like, oh, yeah, Alejandro Bedoya wasn't good today. Well, you put him in a position to fail. What do you expect?
Yeah.
So you know you're not going to get that with Bruce Arena. You're going to get consistency, and you know the guys are not going to quit on you. I would have argued that Klinsmann offers a little more upside as far as, you know, bringing in dual nationals and that sort of thing, but I don't even know that that's the case. I guess a little concerning is that Bruce has been on the record as saying that he wants his American players to be American, kind of like what Abby Wambach said, and he doesn't want foreign-born guys. And I don't know how that would play out because he's had foreign-born guys. It's not like he hasn't done this before. So I don't know if that would mean the end of some of these guys, but for some of them, you know, Jermaine and Timmy Chandler, maybe it's time for it to be the end. Other guys, Brooks, as bad as he was last night, I would give him another chance. He's showed promise before, especially with Jeff Cameron.
There you go. That's the key. Omar
Cameron
Gonzalez
missing was a big hole.
And Omar Gonzalez turned it into one. So, no, the loss of Jeff Cameron was huge. Can't underestimate. The one I wonder about is Sasha Kljestan. Was he healthy?
Well, he had the nose thing, but I don't see why he couldn't have played. Maybe there's something we don't know, because, you know, there's always these cases where maybe there's something we don't know, but that game was calling for Sasha. He plays well with Bradley. They both get to do what they do then. It would provide a little more balance. It would let the wings stretch the game a little bit more. I don't know.
And Bradley'd actually know where he is.
Yeah.
Bradley would know what to expect.
They both know each other. They both kind of know where the other one was because they play pretty distinct roles. It also would give Pulisic some freedom. I mean, I wonder if part of the reason he didn't get subbed off was just to kind of keep him healthy, not let him get hurt in a shitty game, then get Dortmund pissed off at us or something. And then also
was it 3? It was 3.
Yeah,
right,
I think so.
It was 3. Yeah,
but
it was 3 when they brought it. Yeah.
And he wanted to cap Ty Gooch, which makes sense when you're down that big. But then why don't you cap Ty Carter Vickers unless
that was gonna be my next question. Why not?
Unless you're trying to hold the option open that you go manage England and then you can cap Ty him there. But
England's dumb. I think even they figured it out at this point.
Yeah, I wonder where he's going to go. Maybe the LA Galaxy.
It'd be interesting. That actually crossed my mind today, and I thought that would be a good spot for him. Honestly, he can build where he's good. It's where he lives. It's what he's good at. It'd work. I mean, he'd build that team into where it should. Where you want them all to go, and they already have a decent academy system started. He'd make it better. I guess, but to step back just real briefly about Bruce and his Abby Wambach commentary and, agreement or whatever. Bruce likes winning, ultimately. He's got way too much of an ego. He says it when it doesn't matter, but I think when it comes down to matter, he's going to get the 11 guys who can get the job done. I don't think he cares about where they're from. I don't think he cares if they're American-born, German-born, Icelandic-born. He just wants to win.
Yeah, that would certainly be, I think, where he'd go. I know, I mean, Grant, what Grant Wall said that he's heard, but it was also Stephen Goff, I think, from the Washington Post, who said that a U.S. soccer official told him anonymously that they were lining up Bruce. So
that was right after the game last night. That was
Stephen Goff, yeah.
It must have been even told to him, maybe even prior to the game that, hey, just so you're aware, if we lose, this may be something that you may want to throw out there. So
and it makes sense in that Bruce hasn't signed another contract with the LA Galaxy either.
Yeah, all the puzzle pieces are kind of falling into place with that one.
It is, and like I said, it makes sense for Bruce. I think he's ready to be done with MLS. I think this is his one last go around at the big ticket, at the big prize, and then he can retire somewhere and be grumpy sitting on a chair and berating referees at some U12 game somewhere.
Does he bring back Landon?
No.
I mean, Bruce
I
loves
wouldn't
Landon.
put it past him.
No,
I mean, he allowed him to start even having come back. So
yeah, but look at that side.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say you can say it's a different level, but
Landon was okay to a little bit better than okay, in my opinion, in MLS with his comeback. Yeah, I just don't see it translating to the international stage anymore. And it's not that Landon can't. I just think there are better at what he does at this point. The one thing is although maybe he could play right midfield. They didn't have anybody there last night.
It's better than no one. So yeah, it's we had talked about this is getting way ahead, but assuming Bruce comes in as the caretaker manager, we had thrown out a bunch of names on our ride back from Columbus about who we'd like to see maybe a little bit longer term for the team, and Bruce makes a lot of sense. But TJ, you had one very interesting idea, as I recall.
Miguel Herrera.
What Herrera?
El Piojo.
You could bring him in as caretaker or bring him in permanent. I mean, you don't think I still don't think it's that far-fetched for him to want to go back and give Mexico the finger because they fired him the way they did. Would you say? I don't think it's unheard of to go back and be able to screw them over again.
It's definitely not, and he's incredibly entertaining.
I don't like us bringing a former a former coach of Mexico to coach us. I don't care that we shared Bora. At least we did have Bora first, didn't we? Didn't he go there after Nigeria, I think? He left us, went to Nigeria, and then I think went to Mexico.
Isn't the better question when it comes to Bora, which countries did he not coach?
that may be true.
But I think Herrera would be awesome.
It'd be a riot. It'd be entertaining, that's for sure. I see that one ending in flames bigger than Klinsmann did, though.
But it would be.
It might get us some of those kids who can't decide between the U.S. and Mexico right now. We keep going Mexico way. That might be the way to bring them in.
True. We also talked about Peter Vermes, Oscar Pareja. I think there's some decent names out there. Siggy. I don't know. He's getting up there, but I think there's some decent
in weight
names.
or in years.
The name I keep hearing is Tab Ramos.
Tab makes a lot of sense.
I assume he's going to be the future at some point. From being the youth coach now being on the bench, and maybe that's why you do Arena. That he stays on as the assistant to Arena, and then he gets the job in after the next World Cup or sometime during the cycle after that or something.
Ask
I mean, he certainly paid
what's
his
his name at
dues.
Manchester. Ask what's his name at Manchester United how well that worked for him.
What did he say when he came to his Swansea interview though? You just make him run a little harder or something like that.
Yeah.
Smart dude. That's gonna work. What else do you guys want to cover? Have we covered it? Is there anything else we want to talk about? I mean, we're still kind of waiting. I'm checking the front page of USsoccer.com, and not only is there no mention of Klinsmann, there's no mention of last night whatsoever. So,
yeah, that makes me laugh. That's pretty fun. That's pretty funny.
They must recognize how
they're like,
poor that
screw it.
was.
We don't need to post anything about this.
What's you guys want to write about this? No, I mean, let's write about the U20 women.
Michael Cameraman or whoever it is, the comms guy was like, no, don't worry about it. We'll just forget this one existed. Just get on the plane.
You know, if Harambe was still around, we wouldn't have this problem.
It really all goes back to that, doesn't it? I mean,
or Pro Rel, take your pick.
The Pro Rel people. All right. Well, thanks for watching. The website is USfanTV.com. Our Twitter is @USfanTV. Let us know what you think. I'm sure we'll be talking soon, maybe even tomorrow, if there's any kind of movement in the head coaching position.
Maybe they'll hold that until after the first year, just so that 2016 can die.
Might be the safer way to go. If we appoint Bruce this year, he might die.
Just restart things. Yeah. Let's get a totally fresh start. Screw this 2016 shit. We're done.
Let's move on. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see ya.